Is it here yet? I mean, how long does it take? I'm so excited, I can't wait. Alright guys, welcome back to the joint, where today we got something fairly special, I would say. So, in the past, I've usually worn a watch, and it's gone from cheap to somewhat expensive, back to cheap, and, well, let's just kind of walk through the progression. So for the longest time, I wore this watch right here. Now this watch here was a $12 Walmart special. This actually is not the strap that it came on. Little tidbit, the strap that I have on this right now cost more than the watch did originally. But, you know, it's a decent looking watch, and with a nice strap on it, it looks okay. And, you know, for $12, can't complain. It's just a cheap quartz movement watch that you'd find in any other kind of watch, but it's a little bit big for my wrist. When I'm wearing this watch, it kind of hangs over the edge, you know, hangs over the limits of my wrist. So that, and I kind of had a hankering to get a smartwatch. So after that, I bought this, which you've probably seen in a lot of my videos. This is a Asus ZenWatch 2. And I really liked this watch. You could change the faces, it connects to my phone, but it started to annoy me when I would get emails or texts or phone calls, and you know, the thing is on your wrist buzzing constantly. And the other thing that I worry about with this is that, you know, eventually they're going to stop supporting it and it's going to be just a useless piece of garbage. So, you know, those two things combined made me decide it was time to stop wearing that, and I went back with this. The reason that I stopped wearing this in the first place was the battery went dead, so I just got some batteries and a strap off of Amazon and back in business. However, that being said, I did like the smartwatch. I decided to go back to this just to see if I could get myself back in the habit of telling time the old-fashioned way. You know, this thing doesn't even have any numbers on it. And I wore this around for probably a good 2 or 3 months and decided, yes, I like this. And I decided to buy a nicer watch, you know. Not that this one isn't a real watch, it's a watch. It straps to my wrist and I could tell the time and it keeps pretty decent time. It's just, you know, it's cheap. And if you look closely, you can tell that it's cheap. So I decided, I'm a man. I make a decent living. I should wear, you know, at least somewhat of a nice watch. So, you know, it's not like I'm gonna sit here and go out and buy myself like a Breitling or a Rolex or anything, but I wanted something nice, and I wanted something very gentlemanly. So I did a bunch of research, and this is what I came up with. Right here in this box, we have an Orient. This is the Orient Sun and Moon version 3. Now, I like this watch because it came with a blue face. It's got a blue face. It came with a blue face. It has a blue face. But we're going to unbox this. Full disclosure, I've already had this out of the box, but I repackaged it for the purposes of... There was a mosquito flying around. I had to get it. I repackaged it for the purposes of the video. But, you know, whatever. I sized it and I set it. And call me a cheater. Whatever. So here's the box. The thing about this box is that the hot glue turned loose on the inside of the top of this lid, so it kind of falls out a little bit, but that's okay. It's just the package. I don't really care about that as long as the watch itself works. So you get this nice box that's falling apart. The lid flips up, the front flips down. You got a couple of booklets in here, and then you have the watch packaged up all nice in some bubble wrap. So we're going to go ahead and pull this watch out of the bubble wrap. Here it is on the pillow. Make sure that I'm holding it the right way. This is the... Boy, I got all kinds of glare going on here. This is the Orient Sun and Moon. Now it's got the Roman numerals painted on the face. I gotta sneeze. Okay, I'm back. It's got the Roman numerals painted on the face. It has a little day complication, and then it also has a 24-hour dial. It's got the little sun and moon on there. The lights are just absolutely killing me here. But it just basically AM and PM. It doesn't tell you like moon phases or anything like that. But let's go ahead and get this off of this pillow. And let's just put the box aside. We will package that up and get rid of it. And get rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay, so here's the watch we have in question. Now, the first thing that you'll probably have to do if you get one of these is figure out the strap. The strap is a little bit different than a typical strap, I guess you could say. So when you first get it, let me undo it. That way you can kind of sort of see what's going on here. And I've worn this around for a couple of days now. So when you get it, it's got this little, it's got a leather strap, but it kind of has this metal clasp. And you might be wondering how in the heck that works. Well, what you do is you feed this through, you put it in the hole that you want it in, right? So it's got the little pin. Put it in the hole that you want, and then you flip this piece up and it locks in place. And then after that, it just kind of goes on like any other metal band. You just kind of fold it under like this. Then there's a pin right here on the bottom side, and you just snap it in place. Then tuck the rest in, and voila, you've got your leather strap. Now this comes in blue. I got the blue one because I like a blue watch face, but you can also get it in white, I believe. Now this is an automatic winding watch. It's an automatic watch. They call it automatic, but that it doesn't mean that it's automatic. I mean, you have to wear it in order for it to wind itself, because it's got this little, let me just go ahead and undo the clasp one more time to show you what's underneath here. So inside the back, you can see it's got this little rotor thing, and as you move, that rotor will spin around and actually wind the mechanism. This is a mechanical watch. So that's one of the things that I was looking for. You know, this isn't necessarily the cheapest option I could have gone with. I could have gone with like they make Psycho automatic watches for probably like 80 to 100 bucks that look decent. This one was 210, I think. But it had the extra date, or the day of the week, and it's got the date, and it's got the sun and moon dial. And I kind of like that, and it's really classy, and a lot of the clothes that I wear to work, this will go really, really nicely with. It looks a very, very professional looking watch. So let me go ahead and strap this back up. I have a tiny little wrist. So I have to keep this cinched quite a ways down. But there we have it, the watch on my wrist. And as you can see, it's a little it's right on the cusp of being too big, but it looks really nice on my wrist. It's very comfortable too. I'm not a huge fan of metal watch bands. I've had those in the past, and my problem with those is that your arm hairs get caught in them, and then when the watch slides around, it pulls them and hurts, and I don't like that. So, that being said, let me break out the calipers, and we'll have a look at the dimensions of the watch, and I guess maybe I'll give you a couple of my thoughts about the watch. Alright, so here we are. We got the watch up here. We got the calipers. We'll just get some basic dimensions here. So the overall width of this guy is about 45.5 millimeters. That's including the crown. Thickness-wise, we're looking at about 14.5 millimeters. The overall width of it is 50.5 millimeters, roughly. So, you know, it's a pretty decent sized watch. If you measure my wrist here, which is what I'm trying not to get much bigger than, I get 55 millimeters. So this is just about the right size for my wrist. If I put this on here, it just fits real nice. It's not too big and bulky, and it doesn't look like it just completely disappears on my wrist because, you know, it's like a lady's watch or something. But so a closer look at this bad boy will show you that we have obviously the Roman numerals that are painted on, and right here we have the day of the week dial and the date, and my camera's not focusing on this, so you'll just have to take my word for it. And then a little dial here with a sun and a moon on it. So basically it just kind of rotates around as the hours go by to tell you whether it's AM or PM. And you know, it's got this nice blue face. The crystal on the front is sapphire crystal, so should be fairly scratch resistant, which is another thing that I was looking for, because I got these long gangly arms and I tend to flail them around and, like, you know, run into stuff, and I wanted a watch that if I did happen to rub it up against a door jamb or something, it wasn't going to scratch the watch face. So the strap, as you can see, is a nice leather strap. I don't know what you'd call this, like a alligator skin looking type of a strap, or a snake skin. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's what it is. I mean, it's a nice feeling watch strap. And again, here's this hasp that closes up like this. Now, one thing that I have found about this hasp after wearing it for a couple of days is that this piece right here, I don't know if you can see that, but the way that the hinge is, rather than having this little protrusion right here going down towards the strap, it comes up towards your arm. I don't know if you can see that. This little guy right here. And I have found that sometimes starts to irritate my arm a little bit, and I think that just has to do with the fact that this is a new watch to me, and you know, I've just not worn a watch like this, so I think that, you know, I'll build up some callus or, you know, thicker skin in that spot, and it won't irritate me quite as much in the future. Alright, so here we are. We got the watch instruction manuals, right? So it's got some basic things about mechanical watches, how to handle the watch, what not to do with the watch, blah blah blah, how to tell what watch it is, instructions about how to set the watch, little blurb about the automatic winding mechanism, the names of the various dials. So one thing that this has, the version 3, is it's a automatic winding watch. using the little rotor on the back, but you can also wind it up with the crown. And the other thing that it does, when you pull the crown out, the second hand stops. Some other watches don't have that function. That is, I believe, what is called hacking. It's got hand winding and hacking. That's apparently a big deal. I didn't know that until I was researching this one. But we're continuing. It just basically tells you how to set the date, how to set the time, how to set the day of the week. If your watch happens to come with a rotor indicator ring, which mine does not. And that's basically it. And then you get to the German, and then the Italian, and then the Spanish, and whatever that is, and whatever that is. So there you have it. Alright, well, that about does it for this episode of Justin's Joint. Really, it's nothing more than to say, hey, check it out, I got a new watch. But, you know, I mean, if you're into having a nice timepiece, this is not a bad choice, I would say. I mean, I've been wearing this around for a couple of days now, and I can tell you I really like it. Just the way that the crystal looks as you rotate around, you know, it just looks nice and thick and hefty. It looks like, you know, something nice. You know, this one here, you can tell that that's just basically a flat piece of glass and nothing more. You get none of that refractive light shape shifting going on like you do with this guy. So it's a very nice feeling watch to wear too. You know, you know you're wearing a watch. It's not super heavy, but it's also not super light. You know, like this guy here, it's really big, but it's really light because there's nothing to it. It's just a cheapy watch. And, you know, even to some extent, this one too. This one, I'm going to say, weighs a little bit more than the other one, but it still doesn't weigh quite as much as this guy. And that's just because this guy is a mechanical watch, and it's got, you know, it's just built to a higher standard, I suppose. And, or at least I hope, for $200. It better be. However, this is my first foray down the horology road of hobbies and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this. Get yourself a nice watch. It doesn't have to be this one. I just think a gentleman, any gentleman, should have a nice watch. Just, you know, it just creates it finishes off an outfit that you're wearing. You know, whether it's just tucked under your cuff, or even if you're wearing short sleeves like right now. I mean, it just looks nice. I think a nice watch, and I'm not saying like super high end. I'm just saying something that looks nice and presentable. I think it's important for a man to have. It just kind of, like I said, it's like the rug in The Big Lebowski. It just ties the room together. So don't pee on it. Wow, that went off the rails. Anyway, until next time right here in the joint, when I have something else to show you, or something else to say, or just some other ramblings. We'll see you later. Take it easy.